Thank you very much, Mr. Mecha, for this. And I would like to start first by thanking Mr. Michael Muller, Director General of the United Nations Offices of Geneva, for his opening remarks and for the kind words he said about my country. And I would like to personally thank UNITAR for and Mr. Mecha, as well as Mr. Seth, for having worked closely with Jordan and made this event possible, the second dialogue on faith, peace building and development. I would like to start by shedding a few issues about my country. Jordan is a land with an ancient culture. It has cradled many civilization and religion. It is a place where many a prophet passed, lived, died, or was buried. It is a most sacred place. It has witnessed many cherished historical events as well as seen God's miracles on earth. In Jordan, you can, on daily basis, enjoy the music of Al-Adhan calling for prayer, blending in perfect harmony and tune with that of the chiming church bells. Muslims and Christians feel respectively at ease in each other's churches and mosques. Just open the Quran or Bible, Old Testament or New, and you will immediately understand what I mean and why many have made my country their destination of pilgrimage. For example, outside the walls of my own hometown, the city of Al-Karak, you can find Noah's mausoleum, that very place where it is also believed that his ark was built. Lot's mausoleum is situated in a cave located 60 kilometers away from Karak, and 35 kilometers away from this cave stands a dry column of salt, the remainder of no other than his wife, who is, if you remember, was turned into a pillar of salt for disobeying God's will. From Jordan's Mount Nebo, Moses would view the Holy Land, but would never enter it. He would die and be buried in its Moab. At Bethany, beyond the Jordan, Jesus would be baptized by John the Baptist and would from there carry the torch of faith that was carried by Moses and the other prophets before him. From that very place, he would declare the good news of God. In Safawi, you can visit the tree that shaded Prophet Muhammad as a 10-year-old child during his visit to Jordan, accompanying his uncle in a Qurayshi caravan. A priest by the name of Buhaira would perceive a cloud covering him and notice a tree bending and folding its branches by God's command to cast a shadow and shelter him from the heat of the sun. Witnessing this miracle would make Buhaira feel that this boy must be the expected prophet that was mentioned in the Holy Book. The examples I have given show from where we in Jordan, leadership and people, are coming in our narrative and outlook. The feeling of belonging to this holy land has made Jordanian Muslims and Christians alike living side by side in a spirit of respect and cooperation as equals. It has also given us all, we feel, a special responsibility based on our heritage to reach out to the world with a message of tolerance and coexistence. In this, we are guided today by the vision of His Majesty King Abdullah. Being the 41st descendant of the Prophet Muhammad, he has made the Islamic principles of justice, peace, social harmony and tolerance central to his agenda for the nation to build a prospering Jordan at the heart of a region at peace. Under the wise leadership of His Majesty, Jordan has become an open modern country rooted in the values of peace, the equal dignity of people, the rule of law, and the pursuit of excellence. He has also taken upon himself to explain the true nature of Islam and has worked to preserve the cultural and spiritual heritage of all great faiths. And as custodian of the holy places and religious sites in Jerusalem, he spares no effort to protect these sites and preserve and safeguard the identity of this holy city as a place of worship for all. He has also spearheaded numerous global initiatives for tolerance and dialogue Among them, I mention the Amman message, which aims to clarify the true nature of Islam, reject extremism and violence, consolidate the social cohesion between the 8 Muslim sects, and call for peaceful coexistence among the world's 1.5 billion Muslims. The initiative, A Common Word, a call for peace between Muslims and Christians. For Muslims, and overtures from Muslim scholars to their Christian counterparts, declaring the common ground between Christianity and Islam based on calls for love of God and love of the neighbor. And the UN's Global Interfaith Harmony Week, which builds on these two initiatives and which we are observing here today within the confines of the Palais des Nations. And I take this opportunity at this juncture to thank Mr. Muller, Director General, Mr. Seth, Executive Director of UNICTAR, as well as Mr. Mecha for preparing this event, and all my colleagues here seated on the podium, as well as all the participants in this event for making this happen. The Interfaith Week was proposed at the 65th session of the UN General Assembly in 2010 as a means to resist forces of division that spread misunderstanding and mistrust, especially among peoples of different religions, and to provide an opportunity to people from all over the world in their own places of worship to express the teachings of their own faith about tolerance, respect for the other, and peace. On the 20th of October 2010, it was unanimously adopted by the UN. This simple resolution simply proclaims the first week of February of every year, the World Interfaith Harmony Week between all religions, faiths, and beliefs. It encourages all states to support on a voluntary basis the spread of the message of interfaith harmony and goodwill in the world's churches, mosques, synagogues, temples, and other places of worship during that week, based on love of God and love of one's neighbor, or on love of God, good, and love of one's neighbor, each according to their own religious traditions and convictions. The beauty of the resolution is in its simplicity, practicality, and inclusiveness. It moves the discussion forward out of the conference rooms and into the world's homes, schools, offices, and lives through concrete activities. It is not limited to a specific monotheistic religion or belief, but is meant to include all followers of any religion, faith, or belief in universal and inclusive manner. In proclaiming this observance, the United Nations General Assembly encourages all states to use this first week to spread the message of interfaith harmony and goodwill in the world's churches, mosques, synagogues, temples, and other places of worship. This simple idea works well as the number of functions staged as part of the International Faith Harmony Week have shown. Since the adoption of this resolution, the first week of February has been observed annually as the World Interfaith Harmony Week activities commemorating it have continued to grow steadily. For this year, the 7th year that is, up till now we have 410 events scheduled. And in 2016, over 800 events were held in total. Judges received 83 applications for the King Abdullah II Jordan Prize for World Interfaith Harmony Week. And the 3 winners have already been identified. The first prize going to Euclid Common Word Interfaith Harmony Week, Gambia and international partners from different places in Central Africa, in Central African Republic, Ethiopia, Gambia, Trinidad and Tobago, and the United States. The second prize going to Interfaith Harmony Week in Philippines, and the third prize going to an Interfaith Harmony Week in Halifax, in Canada, with 12 other partners. I would like to end my intervention by quoting His Majesty, what he had recently said during a luncheon just after a prayer breakfast in Washington. There is ground on which we can stand that doesn't shift, that cannot shift. The unchanging spiritual values we share, tolerance, mercy, compassion for others, mutual respect, these principles unite and strengthen a civilized world. And it is those common ideals that bring us all together, because they are the foundation of every religion. Whether we bow in a mosque, kneel in a church, pray in a temple, or simply engage in a selfless act of kindness, we are all joined in faith. Our faiths teach us that we are defined by our choices, not our circumstances, by the choices we make or the choices we don't, by our action or our inaction, by kindness or cruelty, boldness or doubt, compassion or indifference. What we are doing today here in commemorating this week, I think, is showing that we all can make the right choices and that we all can make a difference. Thank you very much.